Back to the channel. Now, this is the second official video in the channel. In this video, we'll be ranking the greatest trios to ever exist in football. As you can see, there's 7 trios there that we're going to go through. We talk about obviously the impact. We talk about the quality of players and what I think is ultimately the best front three trio or trio that we've ever seen in football. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, do all of that good stuff in the comments, and I'm going to get straight into it now. Just a disclaimer before I do get into the video, Van Basten, Rijkaard and Gullit, haven't actually watched a game of them. They were way before my time. Same to an extent with Xavi, Busquets and Iniesta. Obviously, as a United fan, I know what Giggs, Beckham and Scholes did, but a lot of them I do know, so we'll have a conversation about them. I've done some research about some of the players and we'll get into it. So, the first one is Van Basten, Gullit and Rijkaard. Now, a bit about them. Obviously, they played for AC Milan. 3 obviously Dutch players. They were known as the Immortals. Very, very good. In 1998, they helped the Netherlands win their first ever European trophy against Russia or Soviet Union at the time. 3 very good players. Obviously, in terms of the Ballon d'Or rankings for that year, they finished 1, 2 and 3. I think Van Basten won it. I think it was Rijkaard 2 and Gullit 3. But it was definitely Van Basten winning it. I think 3 very, very good football players. Van Basten, great striker. So from based on what I've researched and based on what I know, I'd probably have to put them in A tier for now. Then we have arguably the greatest front three now. Bale, Benzema and Cristiano. What a front three it was. I mean, I remember as a child, being only 10 or 11, watching them throughout primary school and high school. What a trio they were. All the trophies they won, the goals. Obviously, 2 of them are Ballon d'Or, or 2 of them have won the Ballon d'Or. Bale for me is criminally underrated. Great front three. I think one of the best in the world. The chemistry, the link up, the way in which they found to get the best out of each other. Benzema dropping deep, Bale and Ronaldo for the runs, the trophies. As I said, they won 5 Champions Leagues, multiple La Ligas, Copa del Rey's, all these sort of cups, Super Cups. Very, very good team, and they were a formidable trio. For me, I'm going to have to put them in S. For my generation coming through, Ronaldo's my favourite player of all time. I think Messi's better than him, but in terms of my favourite player as a child growing up, it was Cristiano Ronaldo, so I have to put them in S tier, in my opinion. So I feel like they are just the greatest trio, I think. Unbelievable. Then you have the second best trio this Real Madrid team was just stacked by the looks of it, and I do remember it, very, very good team. Kroos, Casemiro, Modric, they won 5 Champions Leagues. Modric, obviously, and Kroos won 6. Just 3 of very, very good profiles. I think the one that doesn't get as much praise is Casemiro. I feel like if you don't have Casemiro at the base, you have anyone else, that midfield can't function the way that it can. He allowed the other players to do their thing. Kroos and Modric is magic. It was just a very, very good trio. As I said, it's all about building those partnerships with those connections. And again, I thought they complemented each other relatively well. I feel like for me, watching them at Madrid, control games, and I watched Modric towards the end of his career. Obviously, watched Casemiro at United. Kroos as well was unbelievable. Some of the passes that he made. I just think very, very good trio. Up there with one of the best in my opinion. I'm gonna put them at the top of A. I feel like they were good, but I just think they deserve to be top of A. To be honest with you now. Firmino, Salah, Mane. Firmino, Salah, Mane, very, very good trio as well. They were very, very good for Liverpool. I think, again, it's all about the chemistry, the understanding that they had. Yes, there were a few disagreements between Mane and Salah at times, but they complement each other so well. Firmino in that false 9 position was unreal. The big goals that he scored, the trophies that they won for Liverpool. Salah was probably, you would say, the best one out of the 3, but again, what they did for that Liverpool team, for Jurgen Klopp, was fantastic. The way in which they got, Salah cost 40 million. Same too with Mane. And then they had Firmino in there dropping deep. It was just very, very good. And as I said, with trios, it's all about that understanding and the chemistry. And I think they definitely did have it. The understanding was definitely there. But I just think if we're looking at these trios, I have to put them in B tier. I just think the other trios, what they won, the trophies, the accolades, the goals, I just think you have to put them at in B tier in my opinion. Now, MSN again throughout the childhood. MSN were just unbelievable. Messi, Suarez, Neymar, great trio. I think one of the up there with. I'm actually just gonna straight away put them in S and I'll explain why. MSN for me are up there with Bale, Benzema, and Cristiano in terms of trios. They were absolutely fantastic at Barcelona. The pace, the quality. They had the best player in the world in Lionel Messi. They had Suarez, who was a lethal striker. They had obviously Neymar with the flair, the flicks, the rainbow flicks, the moments of magic, the goals. Like, it was just a frightening trio. They probably had more technical qualities, you could say, than Bale, Benzema, and Cristiano did, if you want to say that. But wow, what a sort of trio they were. Champions League they won, La Liga they won. They obviously won the treble and with Luis Enrique breaking records. Neymar was on fire. Like, some of the runs that they had, I just think they were a fantastic trio. And I think, yeah, they have to go in S tier for me. Xavi, Busquets, Iniesta. Now, again, as midfield trios go, very good. All had different roles. You would say Busquets was the only one who was that number 6, breaking up the play, composure on the ball. I mean, probably the most composed player in world football. I just think he was unreal. Obviously, a lot of people now are talking about Rodri being better than him, which I can understand. But as part of that trio, again, I always think the number 6 allows the other players to do the other things and flourish. Again, I feel like they're an A tier midfield. I think you can't put them any lower than that. I think Xavi's technical ability on the ball, followed by Iniesta's sort of flair, dribbling skills, and the passing. I think, yeah, very good trio. So I have to put them. I put just in front of there for A tier. And then you have Beckham, Giggs, and Scholes. Now, as a United fan, they were just unreal. Again, didn't actually watch them live, but all the trophies they won, the accolades. Giggs has got the most appearances for Manchester United. Was at the club for over 20 years, 13 Premier Leagues, 2 Champions Leagues, multiple cups. Then you look at what Beckham did. Everyone knows the set piece delivery of David Beckham, the quality that he did have, and what he did for football at Milan, PSG, and more importantly Manchester United. And then you have Paul Scholes, again arguably one of the best midfielders the world's ever seen. Fantastic. Again, I think he's won 11 Premier Leagues, 2 Champions Leagues, multiple cups. Like, the trophies they won were unreal. So, very good trio. Again, you wouldn't have them as like a typical trio in terms of, like Benzema, Bale and Ronaldo. They're 3 attackers. Same with MSN, same with all the other ones. I would say, obviously, they are kind of, you would say, midfielders. So, as midfield trios go, as a United fan, I'm going to have to put them there. I think that would be my sort of rankings at the moment. In S tier, you have Bale, Benzema, Cristiano, Messi, Suarez, Neymar. Then in A tier, Modric, Casemiro, Cruz, Xavi, Busquets, Iniesta, Beckham, Scholes, and Giggs. And then you have Rijkaard, Van Basten, and Gullit. And then in B tier, Salah, Mane, and Firmino. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. What did you think of that trio? And where would your rankings be? Who would be the best in your opinion? I think a lot of people will probably agree with the S. Maybe just switch around Messi, Suarez, Neymar, and Benzema, Bale, and Cristiano. But let me know your thoughts in the comments.